Hey, TikTok, it's me, Bruno. Yeah, I'm still kicking. Thank the Lord. Yeah, I'm still working my way through my depression with the passing of my wife. It's very hard, but 2 months have gone by, and each day that goes by, it gets a little easier to accept the fact of what happened. Because it was out of nowhere, man. Like I said, we had a normal night, no big deal. I put her to bed, and then 2 o'clock in the around 2:30 in the morning, she passed away. There was no signs, there was no nothing, man. She just rolled over quietly and passed away. And it just tears my heart out because I loved her so much. I love her so much. But what are you going to do? My mom used to say, when your bingo number is up, your bingo number is up. And there's nothing we can do about it. Think of all those poor people that are minding their businesses over in Ukraine or Palestine. They're minding their own businesses, and all of a sudden a freaking bomb comes in, and boom. I mean, it's a lot of this stuff is just senseless and unnecessary. But when it comes to just a natural death, you're not prepared for it. There's nothing on your radar that says, okay, well, in the next few minutes, this is going to happen. We don't know. That's why everybody says, I've said it to my children over and over and over, and I've said it in the past in a lot of my other postings, to enjoy what you can while you can. There are no insurance policies to the next minute in your life. Which brings me around to the factor that, why is it the good Lord always takes the good people and then leaves evil people like Donald Trump in the Supreme Court and those spineless bastards in the House and Senate all live? They all get to live. Why? They don't deserve to be on this planet. But here they are, causing misery and trouble, and they get to live. But good people, of course, there's always that old saying, only the good die young. I don't know. I mean, we all are just doing what we can. We're here. We're born to die. That's the essence of the human existence. Okay? The second you take your first breath and they cut the cord, you're here to travel a journey, and when your bingo number is up, that's it. So, we can all be philosophical, we can all be religious, obviously there's, the religious people, so forth and so on. Do I have a religious belief? I do. I'm agnostic. Okay, I don't buy in on a lot of the, I was born and raised Catholic. I'm Italian. Okay, and my Bruno name, my family Bruno name goes back to Giordano Bruno, he was a priest back. They burned him to stake in 1500. So from like the mid 1400s to, to the 1500s, he was a very brilliant man. And what the problem was, it was intimidating to the Pope. So the Pope had him tied to a stake, and they killed him. And then the Pope goes, oops, thou shalt not kill. So they erected a statue. When you look in the Basilica Square there, you see statues. Well, one of them is dedicated to Giordano Bruno, of which I am one of his direct descendants. I am one of his direct descendants. Why? Because I am a 100% Bruno. Can I prove it? Yes, I've proved it many, many times on here. I've showed pictures. I've explained it. And that's why I am Bruno. I've seen all sorts of, what do you want to call it, stuff that they're selling on the internet. A hat, Bruno, don't mess, only Bruno knows, and all this other shit. I don't know what gives them the right to do that, but, and there's not much I can do. I would love to place a lawsuit against them, but I really, I don't think I can. It's merchandising. And although they are officially using my family name. And so I guess the way they would look at it is I'm not the only Bruno. You know, there's thousands of us. I guess one time I looked it up a long time ago. There was like 400 Michael Brunos just in the United States of America. As a matter of fact, I was working at the Wyndham Hotel as a nighttime restaurant supervisor at a four-star restaurant, and a Michael Bruno came in for dinner with his family. Yeah, yeah. So I got to meet another Michael Bruno, and then there's my son, Michael Bruno Jr. So, but I can honestly prove my heritage. So that's what makes me Bruno. Okay, we got all that down. But it's just something for me to, it's the only thing I get to take pride in. So when you name your cat, your dog, your snake, Bruno, or like Bruno Mars or Bruno Tortelli, that's on Dancing with the Stars, they get their name from my family. And I could say it's my family. They get it from my family. If my family didn't have the name Bruno, they would never get the name Bruno for their first name. In definition, the name Bruno is brown, the color brown. But since then, it's taken on a whole different aura. So, it's something different to talk about, because we all know that politically wise, Donald Trump is just he's just a stooge. The people behind him are pulling all the strings. The Supreme Court, every time I say that, every one of them should be condemned to hell. All five of those conservative Supreme Court justices should be condemned to hell. But you know what? They'll live. They'll live. Why? Because apparently evil does well down here. If you're evil, you get to live. If you're good, you die. That's the way it's looking. Epstein, this whole thing, I guess they sold his island. Somebody else bought it over and is making some kind of a resort out of it. That's the last I heard about that. Like I told you, the woman, don't ask me her names, the one who did all the work of recruiting all the young children, she got a free get out of jail card. Oh, she's still doing time at a resort jail where she gets to leave during the day, and she only has to report back at night. Whereas before, she was where she belonged, in a hardcore jail for what she did. For the children that got abused because of her. She took part in it, very much so. It was all came out, and she was convicted by a jury of 12, and yet she gets a free get out of jail card. She gets a free get out of jail card. So, yeah, what are you going to do? I get frustrated because what the hell am I supposed to say? When the geniuses that are on here, and again, and I'm going to bring this up one more time, TikTok, what is your problem? I am so appalled that you are bowing down, bending a knee, and kissing the ass of Donald Trump. I can't believe you're doing that. I always thought you were an independent group of people that had a little pride in yourself. Pride, man. A little respect for what you're doing, TikTok. But no, now you're going to write this new guidelines that's going to ban all of us liberals so that the conservatives can take over. How wrong can that be? What is wrong with you people, man? And you're bowing down and kissing the ass of Donald Trump. For what? Money? Money? You got money. All right, you got all the money you could possibly need. Well, I don't know. I'm getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. For those of you that follow me and give me likes, I am sincerely thankful to every one of you. And again, I thank all you folks that sent your sympathy and condolences to me. Thank you. Let's stay safe. Let's be aware of what's going on around us. Do not become complacent. Let's fight our fight to beat this goddamn Donald Trump and his evil occult. Let's make America America again. Thanks, folks.